I am an avid component of chasing your dreams, but not at the expense of your life. I know I said earlier that you got to be willing to die for it, but it comes a time when if you need to take a step back to get your physical health under control, then you got to do what you got to do. But here's the beautiful part. The beautiful part is with life, there's always the possibility for adjustments, right? So even though I may not can get up and leave out of the house, but there's something I can do in my house to keep my vision moving forward. There's something I can be studying. There's something I can be reading. You get what I'm saying? So at all times, there's always something we can do to move forward. And that's just the truth. And that's what we got to definitely stay focused on. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yes.
All right, so cool. Let's jump into the life development plan. Let's get started. And I brought mine right here so everybody can see. Actually, I did a new one because I got some new goals I'm shooting for. So I'll be able to give you guys some examples off mine. And then what we're going to do is we're going to create yours.
Okay.
So what the LDP, or Life Development Plan, is a 6-month strategy that we're going to create.
You know you don't want to come back and forth in here. Don't do my baby like that.
All our babies, yeah. All our babies.
Okay, so it's a 6-month strategy that's actually wrapped around identifying a goal for yourself. So we're going to identify the goal. Then what we're going to do is we're going to talk about what's required to actually create that goal. And then we're going to talk about benchmarks. So, and then you're going to create a goal statement, and then we're going to do some benchmarks to kind of give you a quick overview. So in the LDP, the first thing is actually you're going to put your name on it. So let's start with that. Put your name on the form. I want some Gatorade for a long time. Caught my eye when I looked over there. Did a double tag. All right. And then under that, it says my vision. My vision just determines what do you see? You know, what do you want to do? And this is what I wrote. This is actually for me, and I spoke about this the last time. I said, I see a world within the collective body that life is a chosen focus for all. That any choice that causes mental dysfunction is not an option in the decision-making process for all. Self-interest doesn't exist, only our interest for all, and supreme law governs all. So what does that mean? That means that I see a new type of world. And that may be huge for somebody to say, because the average person don't say they see a different type of world. I see a world where we get along. I see a world where everybody's prosperous. You get what I'm saying? I see a world that poverty doesn't exist because we're not thinking in poverty terms. You get me? Because in order for these things to exist, it has to be a part of your belief. It has to be a part of who you are. In order for you to experience it physically, it must be a part of you mentally. I see a world where we don't do that. Think about it like this. Where would we be if as a kid, they would have drilled in us the fact that whatever you focus on, you're going to become in this world? Do you think we'd look at life a little bit differently? You see, we would have looked at life a little bit more conscious, right? Because now we have been brought into a position where we can see something as it is and not something that we wanted or pretend for it to be. Because a lot of the stuff that was harmful to us, we thought it was going to be okay, didn't we? Come on now. Come on. Because when we desire, see, the thing about desire is when you desire something, isn't it interesting how all you can see is that thing you desire? All of the warning signs tend to just disappear. Until when? When does the warning signs normally come back? Come on, let's get going. Come on. When, say it again? When it's in your face. What does that mean, in your face?
When it's too late.
When what you've been doing in the dark has come to the light, right? Where everybody knows you've been exposed or you've been caught. Or you get what I'm saying? It's easy to sneak in there and steal a car and get away with it. But eventually, right? When they sneak in there, somebody's going to be waiting on them. As a matter of fact, some of these cops got stings where they put cars out there, right, with the keys already, you know. Because they know somebody going to bite like a fish, right? Why do they bite? Because all they see is what they want. But if they was thinking logically, see, that's emotion, right? But if they was thinking logically, what conclusion would they have came to?
It's a trap.
It's a trap. Why?
Because nobody leaves their keys in the car.
Thank you. Thank you. It would have been an easy conclusion to come to because no one does this. It is way too easy. But when we get caught up on what we want, we get what a lot of people call tunnel vision, right? And all we're focusing on is what we want. On horses, they put the little blinders on the side of their eyes. You know why?
When we're focused, so they don't see.
That's right.
So they're not distracted.
That's right. That's right. They're not distracted. Now, that could be a good thing. That could be a bad thing. That could be a good thing if we're using it to block out the haters, right? Or to block out the distractions. Those things that we have identified as distractions. Consciously identified as distractions for us. We can block it out. But if we're blocking out, if we're so focused on one thing until we're blocking out even the good stuff, or even the warning signs, or even that thing that says, hey, you may need to change it just a little bit, and I know what I'm doing. How many times you heard people say that? You go to them and say, hey man, let me help you. You know, you've been doing that, you lifting that thing, wrong. If you keep lifting like that, you're going to blow out your back. I know what I'm doing. And they keep doing it, and eventually they have what? A blow it out back, right? You see? So when we don't allow the good things to come in, then that's when we have a problem. So this is actually my vision statement. So you've already got yours written. So just write down what you see. Come on, let's get some activity rolling. So what's your vision? What do you see for yourself? What do you see for your family? What do you see? What do you see? Lynn, you see a world where the young ladies is what? I see a world where you say you want to give them help and assistance. Why? It's obvious. Come on now. You don't want them to go out like that, right?
No.
Come on, speak up. Let's go. You tell it to you like this right here. Here's the truth. Are you ready for the truth? If you have trouble saying it, then how can you do it? See what I'm saying? You have to see it before you can do it. And you're seeing it because it's a thought, right? The first form that thought takes is words. So you see it, you think about it, it starts to become a part of who you are. You're speaking about it because it's a part of who you are. That resonates with you, it connects with you, right? It's like a purpose. It connects. So now the next step is to be able to say it. Now I know it can be a little intimidating or fearful sometimes. I don't know if this is your situation, but I'm just throwing some things out here. Because you know what happens when we put it out there in the atmosphere? Not just that it comes back, but what else? If I tell Vita I'm going to do something, and she hears me say it,
I expect you to do it, right?
accountability. Accountability. And sometimes that's that underlying thing that we don't see. We know we got a problem saying it, well, why? Accountability. But the thing is this, the first person you have to be accountable to is yourself. So, what type of world do you see for the young ladies? Make it a one-liner. It does not have to be difficult. I see a world where they're safe from human trafficking with the assistance that they need. I see a world where young ladies are getting assistance that they need and they're safe from human trafficking. That's all you have to write. But we're going to keep developing this plan as we go. So start writing. Let me see that pen hit the paper. You got yours, Shannon? We are on. How are you, by the way?
I'm good, thank you so much.
Good.
Oh, okay.
She's got it.
I got
Oh, you got it already? Okay.
That's what we're doing?
Yes.
I got one, thank you.
So we're just at the top portion of it. And what we're talking about is your vision. What it is that you see for yourself. What do you see for your family? What do you see? So as you guys are writing that, the second one is my purpose, right? Your purpose is your reason for living. You see? So when you connect with that thing that resonates deeply with you, that means that's what you're supposed to be doing. There's a reason for that. There's a reason why people are so passionate about certain things and they love it. I mean, they just love it. They wake up in the morning thinking about it. They go to sleep at night thinking about it. It's because that's their reason. That's their purpose. So what is your purpose? I said my reason for living is to become an authentic being, the person I was created to be. I kept it simple. Because when I become the person I was created to be, that covers everything else. That covers my occupation, that covers, what type of father, what type of husband, what type of a provider, protector. It covers everything. We were not created to fail. And I'll say it over and over again. I do not believe it. I do not believe it. I do not believe it. We were not. Because the way you know is that if you study back everybody that failed, there's a common denominator in all those people. You know what it is? Learn behavior. Learn behavior. Somebody taught them something. Whether it was intentional or unintentional, whether it was in the environment and they just picked up on it. I didn't learn. We're going to talk about self-esteem today. Nobody came to me and said, you should have low self-esteem. I didn't have a lot of people in my life putting me down, but yet I developed low self-esteem. How did it happen? When I studied myself back, I studied back my environment, the same thing I asked you guys to do, and my mother had very low self-esteem. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. It was in my environment the whole time. You ever notice that children become more like their parents? Did anything else? All right, so you guys got your purple. Keep going. And then we're going to go to skills required. We're going to talk about some skills. So I brought a list of skills that I thought was extremely good in regards to the development of oneself. So we're going to talk about that in 1 second. But I'll go over what mine is. So under skill requirement, I have mental clarity, right? Quality decision making. Here's a good one. The ability to say no. Why is that important? How does it give you balance?
It helps you to weed out things that are unnecessary in your life.
Yep. And also people, right? Because it's not just that we have to say no to things, we have to say no to people. My wife's mother is extremely good at scheduling appointments, not asking nobody if they can take her, and then the day of the appointment she get up and say, hey, can you run me over here? It's like, hold up, wait a minute. Don't you supposed to do that ahead of time? Don't you supposed to say, hey, you know, I'm going to schedule this appointment. I want to know what days you are available so I can get you to drop me off or take me over there? She'll jump on her schedule at the drop of a hat. She works at night. She come home in the morning. She can't even sit down because now I got to run her mother. She got to run her mother over there to a doctor's appointment. It's like little stuff like that. And I said the problem with you is that you don't have the ability to say no. But here's the issue. The issue comes in is because the majority of people are looking out for their own self what?
Interest.
Say it again.
Interest.
Their own self-interest. As a matter of fact, they taught us that that's perfectly fine in this world, right? To look out for yourself. And if you don't look out for yourself, you're like borderline crazy, right? Here's the issue. If I'm looking out for myself or my own self-interest, then how can the decisions I make benefit you?
I wouldn't tell my mama no. Yeah, that's hard.
Yeah.
It's not about telling your mother no. It's about having a conversation with her saying, Mama, can you please notify me first so I can tell you what my schedule's like so when you make that appointment, I can be there to take you. That way it's all lined up. Does that make sense?
Especially when people got a job and stuff.
Yeah. So I can understand it happening every now and then. That's life, right? Things are going to happen. But she's been doing this for 20-some years.
Damn.
You see what I'm saying? Are you good? 20-some years. Now, can you see how that can become an issue? We're looking at it that way, so I have the ability to tell people no. It says internal belief. I believe that the Supreme is within, that God is within. And then also I put internal motivation. I put inspiration. Oh, let me go back. Internal motivation. Internal motivation just means a self-starter. I'm motivated from within. Right? Because I believe that everything is a transformation from the inside out. Everything transpires from the inside out. It unfolds from the inside out. So if that's the case, then I don't need anything out here to motivate me. I have to be self-motivated. Because if I'm waiting for something out here to develop me from within here, and I'm hanging around the wrong people, what's the likelihood that's going to happen? You see what I'm saying? So you have to have that way of encouraging yourself. You got to have that way of building yourself up every single day, focusing on your things. We're going to talk about affirmations, right? We started talking about them last week. All the affirmation is self-empowerment. It's empowerment from within. Knowing that you're getting up for the right cause and for the right reason, believing in what you're doing. I put inspiration, I put people-centric, and I put goal-centric, goal-centered, inspiration, people-centric, goal-centered, and meditation. Those are the skills that I'm developing. Now, some good skills that I actually list for those that are getting started is listening, active listening, active listening, Quality decision making. Ready?
What was that to?
First one is active listening.
What is it?
Active listening.
Oh, active.
Yes.
I can't hear what.
No, it's all good. Active listening. No, you can ask me as many times as you like. This is for you. Right? Because when you active listen, you can make what? Quality decisions. Second one's quality decisions. When you make quality decisions, they help you to become creative. The third one is creative. Once you become creative, you can become action-oriented. Right? So action-oriented. You're creative. You thought about it. Now you're ready to take action. Now you got to do some research. Okay? Action-oriented. The next one is organized. You got to learn how to organize what's going on. Organize what you want to do. There's a lot of great things you want to do, but there's like priorities, right?
Yep.
Okay. So you got to organize them first. The next one is planning. You plan it. So write it down. Questions? Am I moving too fast?
First time though, because I don't know what. I'm listening. What?
Oh, no, go ahead. Question. You said.
That's a part of this required skills. Is that what it
Yes.
is?
So what we are right now, excuse me. So acquire. I'm sorry, require. So require skills. So what I'm doing is I'm giving you some examples of what type of required skills that successful people have.
Okay.
Does that better explain for everybody? So I'll go over it one more time. So I said active listening, quality decision making, creativity, action oriented, and you don't need them all. If you feel like you don't need it for what you want to do, then you don't necessarily have to write it. I wrote organizing. Once you have it organized, then you have to plan it out. So the next one's planning. Ready? Written communication. Sizing up people. So now you're realizing or analyzing who can help me. Who has the skills to help me?
Oh, that's what you think.
Yes. Sizing up, huh? Yeah, street sizing people up, huh? All right, the next one is peer relationships. Next one is time management. Here's a good one. Integrity and trust. Right? If you want people to help you in this world, you have to have integrity. People got to see that you're worth following. That's just the truth. So that helps us to get out of ourselves sometimes, because it's going to come days we don't want to do it. I'm going to be honest. I had one of those days this morning. I woke up, my stomach was killing me, but I'm still here. Staff meeting, everything. So I had to get prepared. I had to get dressed. I had to do what I need to do, but I had to get here because I told you guys I was going to be here. So that's what you have to do. Next one is motivating others. Because there's going to come a time you're going to want something from somebody, right? You know the best way to motivate someone, by the way? I'm going to tell you the number one way to get anything you want from the right people. You know what it is?
What?
Give them what they want to get what you want. Help them get what they want to get what you want. If they have something that you need, and you know they're a part of an organization or something, you know something, they're passionate about something, then all you got to do is get in there and say, hey man, let me help you with that. You see? That puts you close to the person you want to be close to, right? And as you're helping them, what do you normally do? Talk.
You gotta be careful though.
Like,
Because some people usually to get what they want. Just to,
but see, that goes right back to sizing people up, right? Making sure that you're doing that with the right people. To your point, you're right.
You're doing it with the right person. I mean, I'm not trying to.
No, it happens. No. You're right.
You think you're doing it with the right person, but it just, I mean, I've done that a few times. You know, it's like,
you know it's
like
not
that
working.
wall, like when you finally let it down, it's like, okay, let me, they prove you wrong.
Okay, so
Right, I mean, prove you right in the beginning.
So one of the things I would say to you, which is a good thing, is that you went through those experiences, right? And the reason why it's a good thing is because it can help you identify the behaviors that these people have. So what I would say to you is to recognize those behaviors so that when you go and entertain somebody else, now you're looking out for certain behaviors. See, before, when we fell victim to it, we didn't really know what to look out for. You know? I mean, back in the day, we would talk to anybody, right? Nowadays, we're like, you know I'm coming from. If somebody just roll up on you out the blue, there's certain things you're looking for, right? Does it feel right? Does it look right? You know, there are certain indications that we look for to make sure that we're talking to the right people. So I'm saying use that for your benefit.
Right.
Make sense? Compassion. And I'm going to throw that. Yeah, I'm going to write it down. I'm going to give it to you. This one is what we use in business, and it's called strategic agility. The word agility is spelled A-G-I-L-I-T-Y, strategic agility. And all it means is the skill of being able to see ahead clearly. You can see where you want to go. You're seeing things from us. It's strategic agility. Agility is spelled A-G-I-L-I-T-Y. Yeah, it's just the ability to look ahead clearly. And I can give you guys a copy of these too. And then the last one is managing vision and purpose. All right? So the next step of this right here is to look at what skills you already have. So out of that list that you was already given, what skills have you already acquired? Now we're doing a process of elimination. And then once you identify what skills you've already acquired, then now the rest of those skills go to skills under development. How you doing today?
Me?
Yeah, you.
I'm good. Tired.
Tired, huh? You like the motivator in here. You start leaning back, I start leaning back. Like,
Oh, no, I'm good.
I'm gonna start mimicking you.
I'm chill.
Okay, all right, just making sure.
I'm here tonight.
Nah, it's all good. You always here. That's a beautiful thing. All right, does that make sense to everybody? All right, great. So did you guys get to the part where you listed the skills under acquired skills, the ones you already have? And then the next one is skills under development. So move down. Make sure you guys are writing. Because when we get to the benchmarks, now we're going to start talking about those skills, developing those skills, right? All right. So is everybody ready to move forward?
Yeah.
Okay. Now we're going to talk about behaviors
Everybody,
required.
I just said yeah, but everybody.
Oh yeah. How's everybody doing?
People still right there.
It's okay.
No. We're not gonna leave you. We'll adjust. I want to make sure everybody get this. There's always room to adjust.
You said you don't give us copies, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not a problem. Better yet, make sure I have your email address. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna scan all these when I get home, and I'll shoot them out to you in an email. Along with this video.
Because then I'm gonna have to go through my email or no, you just don't want to go make copies real quick? Yeah.
Right.
You ain't doing nothing but flash.
Noel is doing.
The emails?
He ain't doing that.
Oh. Sure, I'll do anything for you guys.
So how's everybody doing? All right, so let's move to the next one. Now what we're going to talk about is behaviors required to practice to develop skills. So not only have you identified the skills you need to develop, what behaviors is required to actually practice that skill? So what I put for me was concentrated focus. I put daily meditation, daily strategizing and planning, daily prioritizing, daily progress analysis. So what does that mean? I am looking at my day and I'm checking to make sure that I'm doing what I need to do. You know how we talked about earlier? You can wake up, sometimes people wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to do this, this, and this. And they wake up and get distracted and do nothing, and nothing. Okay, so when you have safeguards in place, it can stop that from happening. So what does that mean? The safeguard could be a 12 o'clock ring on your phone. Ding, 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 ding. I have one on my phone. You know what I call it? An inconsistency check. I know that may sound weird for you, but may sound weird for you guys. So what it is that
Inconsistency means.
it means exact inconsistency. So when that comes up, it's like, what inconsistencies do I have in my behavior? Because I have a certain pattern of things that I do. Exactly, right? So I have this daily thing that I do. So at 12 o'clock it pops up and it alerts me to look for any type of inconsistency. So in other words, did I get distracted? Am I doing something that I didn't have planned? You know, am I over here when I was supposed to be over there? And if that's the case, then I still got enough time within the day to correct that behavior so that I can get my desired outcome. Does that make sense to everybody? Cool. All right. So that's what I have. So now, what you got? You guys got it all written down? So what behaviors? You guys want to talk about some behaviors? Okay. So I put concentrated focus. Definitely needed. What you laughing at?
Which one are you on?
You gonna ask a question?
That's what
Okay.
I said to stay focused and to stop letting my current situation override what I want or can or have or do in life.
Okay. Okay, so stay focused. I heard determine in that.
Yeah.
So focus, determine, right? Goal centric. So in essence, you're constantly getting up, looking at what your goals are, and making sure that you're doing what's required to get to the goal. So the behavior is just actions, right? What action are you going to take place to make the overall goal of what you make the vision that you want come to pass? You guys want to talk about some more actions? What are some more actions we can take? So we talked about concentrated focus, determination, being determined, right?
Having a positive attitude.
Positive attitude. What else? Come on, Lean, I'm going to the back. You ain't ducking.
That was a beautiful positive attitude.
Oh, no. You start ready. Come on, name something else.
They actually talking about
Name, come on, Lean.
Give us some examples so we can follow.
Okay, so behaviors, right? I put daily meditation. What daily meditation does for me is that it helps me to center my mind and block out all the stuff that I don't need to be focusing on. That's a behavior, right? I also put daily exercise, daily mental and physical exercise, right? So we're looking at actions that you can take that's going to keep you focused on the accomplishing of your goal. So exercise creates what? Endorphins, right? Endorphins make you feel good about yourself. That's why when people go and they do something, they come back and they say, I feel so good. Because that's what's happening. It's a chemical that's being created in your brain. I put daily prioritizing. So I'm getting up in the morning or the night before and I'm planning out what my next day look like. The night before is always better. So plan out what does the next day look like. If there are certain things you need to accomplish the next day, make sure it's planned. So that when you get up in the morning, you're getting up with what? A plan. You ever heard that old saying, you either plan to succeed or you plan to fail? Why do people plan to fail?
Because they don't plan to succeed.
Because they don't have a plan. There you go. Perfect. Right? I also put daily strategizing. And the reason why I said strategizing is because sometimes we're going to have a plan set up and we're going to get up in the morning and one of our kids will just say, Mr. Levi here has something where mama needs to make an adjustment. She has to do something for Mr. Levi. You see where I'm coming from? So now when it happens, instead of just saying my whole day is messed up because I got to do this, we start to look at things a little bit differently, right? So if you told yourself you was going to read, then hey, I'm going to take my book with me, right, onto this appointment, and while we're waiting on the appointment, I'm going to read the chapter I need to read. See, when I was in school, I had to learn how to be a family man and also a school man at the same time. You know how I did it? Simple. I realized that my kids were small at the time and they wanted daddy's attention. It is what it is. And they wasn't trying to hear you do right in the paper. Every now and then that'll fly. But you know, they get a little antsy, right? Because they want daddy's attention. But this is how I did it. When I would structure my paper before I would leave home. So I would not have to stay up late at night. 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, I would structure it. So that way, when we get in the car going to our destination the day before, because they play football, a lot of sports. So as we were headed to the destination, my wife would drive, and I would be over there, all the way there. We get there, I put it up, I become dad again. I'm rooting them on. On the way home, I'm right? So that when we get home, we can spend some time together. And before I go to bed at night, I'm just editing and submitting. Editing, proofreading, submitting. You get what I'm saying? So in other words, you learn how to work it out when you're strategizing daily. And that's what we need to do. Does that make sense? And then another thing I want to add too it's like self-awareness, self-analysis, right? Self-analysis. Always look at yourself. Make a habit. If your day isn't going the way it's supposed to do, look internally. Look at yourself. Ask yourself the right questions like we talked about last week. What is the thing that I'm not doing? Or what is the thing that I can do better? No, forget what you're not doing. Ask yourself, what can I do better to make this a better day for me and my family? And whatever comes to you, do it. Do it. Make sense?
Yes.
All right, so let's move on down. So now we got the vision development. So now the vision, under vision development, we're going to start the 6-month goal. And it's what, why, when, and how. So to give you an example, I have what? What do I want to do? I want to create constant traffic, which is product-centered clients flowing to my company. So I want to create traffic coming to my company. I want to create people coming to me saying, I like what you offer. Tell me more about that. This is my goal. That's what I want to do. Why do I want to do it? Because I want to advance product awareness for the sole purpose of adding quality to my clients' lives. The products that I offer adds quality. But in order to add quality to their lives, I have to advance product awareness. This is your 6-month goal. What do you want to do within the next 6 months? And then also I put when. Between July the 1st, 2018 and December 31st, 2018. So for the next 6 months, starting July the 1st, this is my goal. All right, how? I'm going to develop a personal and working relationship with a social media marketing and landing page specialist and people with group influence, because not only do I want to advance it that way, I also want to do more live events, right? So it's interesting because I wrote this last night and then we had a meeting today talking about what expansion looks like. You see what I'm saying? What it looks like in the upcoming future. I didn't even know that we were going to have this conversation. But the thing is that when you put yourself in a position of belief and you're doing what you need to do, things always happen for you. I read something very quickly, and it was about business. And it said, don't quit because somebody's telling somebody. When you're good at what you're doing and you constantly keep doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it, trust me, somebody is telling somebody what you are doing. And what tends to happen to us is that the longevity we fall short of, right? So when we should have been in there steadfast and fighting for it, we throw in the towel, some people, and then that's when people come say, hey, you still do this, or you still do that. Does that make sense to everybody? So this is what I want to do. So what do you want to do within the next 6 months of your life? Let's keep it employment. Let's keep it housing central. So in the next 6 months, right? I want to have, right? Whether it's a house or apartment, you just say, I want to have my own place to live with the financial means of supporting myself and my family. Within the next 6 months.
Are we supposed to write all that in this section?
Right? Mine's a little
Next
bit
6 months, I would goal statement.
Yeah, goal statement.
You see what I'm on? Yeah.
Okay, oh, okay.
Yeah, under goal statement. So in the next 6 months, I will have my own place to live and the financial means of supporting me and my family. That's housing and employment central. So now, once you got that written down, we get to the point, okay, what are you going to do within the next 30 days to make that happen? So we're talking employment, we're talking housing. So the next 30 days, using you as an example, then you can say, I'm getting prepared for my upcoming interview. Prepare for upcoming interview. You see? All right. So that speaks to the employment. Now, one thing I want to share with you, Lynn, and this is what I want you to do, is to also add into your plan B. I'm not saying that you won't get in. That is not what I'm saying. But I'm saying always have a plan B. Because what you don't want to happen is you get there and you do everything you need to do to get in there, and then somebody's feeling some kind of way. You see where I'm coming from? Because it happens. We're dealing with people. I'm not speaking anything negative. I'm just speaking truth, right? and then something happens where you're still going to need employment to take care of yourself and your family. So be on in with that plan B. And I want you to start thinking about that because I'm going to email you on that, and I want to hear some thoughts in regards to what that plan B can actually be. And plan B for you doesn't mean give up what you're striving for. Plan B may be, okay, I'm going to go through this training program here just in case, so that way I can grab a job as I continue to pursue my goal. I will never tell you to give up your goal or give up your destiny or give up your purpose. But sometimes in life we have to work a job sometimes, right? That we particularly don't care for, but we know we're moving towards something. Does that make sense? Okay, great. Alright, so in the next 30 days, everybody got the 30 days down? Okay, so let's do 30 and 60. So what are you going to do in 60 days? Let me tell you what I put. So 30 days, I put locate the right social media marketer, landing page specialist, and one person with group influence. That's what I'm going to do. Because I want to do more live events. So I need to find somebody that's actually can, tell some people, come on out, this is a good guy, and they'll come out. Whether it's a pastor or whoever it is. Let me in. And then in 60 days, I put identify the right social media channel. So within 60 days, I have the person lined up, and then now I have identified the right social media channels. Develop social media content. Revamp Real Way website to reflect my current strategic plan. Develop and implement a landing page and host my first live event by September the 1st. That's what I put for me. Yours may be So typically in the beginning when we start doing something, the first 30 days is usually like research, right? We're researching it, we're locating. So I'm going to research this, I'm going to find out more about this thing that I want to do. 60 days is okay if I've already researched it, so within the next 30 days, from 31 to 60 days, now I'm making contacts. I'm getting moving. So in 60 days, you should have some deliverables. You know what deliverables are? You should be able to point to some measurable things that you have done. What does that mean? I've researched it. That's something I've done. I made calls. I reached out to the right people. I had some interviews, informational interviews with some people, right? So to find out how did you become that great person that you are right now. That's what I'm interested in doing. Do you know those are some of the greatest interviews to have? Because good people that's good at what they do, you know one thing they also understand? The law of larger numbers. They understand how consistent return happens. What does that mean? If I'm good at what I do, I'm going to make more money if I duplicate my effort. And the only way to duplicate my effort is through two ways. Either two ways. Either you work for money or you make money work for you. And how do you make money work for you? By identifying somebody else that's passionate, somebody else that has a desire, somebody else that get it, right? And then once I identify you, I'm going to train you and bring you in. And guess what that does? It multiplies my effort, but it also multiplies my pocket because every time you score, I score. Does that make sense to everybody? All right, cool. So in 60 days, we should have some deliverables. You should be able to say to yourself, I have done this, and this, some things that we can write down. But those are going to be deliverables toward your employment and toward your housing. All right? So who want to share just some ideas that they have and toward, let's talk about housing. So what is going to be your 30-day plan to make sure that you're moving toward getting your own place? Hey, you was looking at me, so I'm looking at you. I didn't need to make eye contact. What you just had? I'm sorry. Say it again.
Continue to apply.
Okay, so continue to apply, right? Now, as you've been applying for housing, have you ever seen anything that you feel like you need to get more of, or in terms of income, or?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
so now you're applying, so the next 30 days I'm going to continue to apply, and then also I'm going to locate any barriers, right, to my housing strategy. So I'm applying and I'm locating barriers. What does that mean? You're looking out for different things. So remember, 30 days is identification, is research, it's these things. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yes.
So now by the time you get to 60 days in, you have already located the barriers that is interfering with you and getting your own place. Right? So you're in motion now. I located these barriers in my first 30 days, 60 days. I went into motion working on overcoming these barriers. So now you know. And this is the thing. Whatever you focus on, that's what you're going to have in this world. That's what you're going to attract to you. So if I'm focused on a solution for a barrier, right? If I'm focused on that, then what am I going to get? I'm going to get the solution, right? It's going to come to me. And you know what's beautiful? Sometimes you may not even mean for it to. You may be in a shop, in a grocery store. Have you ever just been somewhere and you wanted something or you desired to know something and it just dropped on you like boom? You see? That's how it happens. But it's not going to come until you put a demand on it. Does that make sense? So now you're focusing on the solution because you have identified, that it's a problem. Does that make sense? Okay, I'm just trying to get us through this so we can take us. Alright, 8:06. We're almost done. So, as far as with the rest of the benchmarks, I just want to go 30-60. Now, once you get into 90 days, one thing I do want to point out, that's when you're in motion. You see what I'm saying? 30 is discovery. 1 through 30 is research and discovery. 31 through 60 is deliverables. I have discovered what the issue is. I have now located some things that I'm working on as a solution. But once you get to 90 days, you should be running. Does that make sense? Because now you have identified the issue, you know what it is, you have identified solutions, and you're developing. And that's what I mean by running. I mean developing. You're actively doing something. So we should be able to come back to you and be able to say, okay, show me what you're doing. And you can say, I'm doing boom, boom, and boom. Because in order for this program to be successful, and this is what I need from each and every one of you, I need to know how you're actively moving forward. Does that make sense? Because that's what I need to report back to the higher ups. I need to be able to say, we started here, we've identified this, this, and this as a barrier, right? And we've overcome that barrier by doing this, this, and this, and these are the results that you have. Does that make sense? Cool, that's what I need for you guys. And for return, I'm going to give you everything I got. So all you got to do is just ask. Alright, I ain't going to give you my money now. Hey, hold on now. Boy, you get me in trouble. I won't even better go home.
He said
Shit, boy, I be thinking I'm over here doing something inappropriate. When they start thinking,
He said whatever.
come on.
right.
Come on. Get a call in the, hey, my son texted me, true story. My son works at nights, right? So he had this little difficulty with a guy on his job. So I texted him after he went to work, because actually I was supposed to hit him up at about 10:15 before he went in, right? But, so basically, I was busy getting prepared for today, and I missed it, and I looked out, it was 10:33. So I texted him, but he didn't text me back until his break, which was about 12:30, midnight. So I'm texting. He texts me back. Then I text him, he texts me back. But lo and behold, when that second came in, who you texting at midnight? You know what I'm saying? Boy, you went with something else. Boy, she came about a coma sleep. Who you texting at midnight? For real. And it was my son the whole time. Glad it was him. No. Woo-wee. Alright, so cool. So basically what I did, and then we're going to go ahead and take a break, and then we'll come back and we'll just do the resources. Now let's just go ahead and finish this up real quick. This won't take nothing but a second, then we'll do our break. So resources basically is the resources that you need to make it work. For me, the resources that I need is the right team members. The second resource is sweat equity and concentrated labor. That's what I need. I need people that's going to come in and going to put in the work to build what we're looking to be. The third resource I put was finance. I said sweat equity and concentrated labor. I like to use the word concentrated on things because now we're concentrating on a certain thing. It gives off that rifle approach versus the shotgun. Because too often we look at things as a shotgun. We try to do the buckshots. When you shoot, buckshots spread out and they hit the target. Rifle is like boom. I just want the right people that will come to the door and do the right job. I don't want to be fussing and going back in and forth with people and stuff like that. The third one I put was finance. And the fourth one I put for me is 8 people with group influence. That's what I need. I need 8 people with group influence. That's what's going to help me to get all of my workshops off the ground that I want to do. Actually, I don't even need 8. I'm going to fix this. I just need 2. want to do 2 within the next 6 months. 2 people with group influence. So I put resources that I have on hand for me is I have 1 of the 3 required team members, which is moi. You know what I'm saying? I'm a solopreneur. You know what I'm coming from? I have sweat equity and concentrated labor. I'm working my dream. That's the reason I'm here. You know? I tell people to do this right here. You want a sure way to make some money? I give it to you right now. All you got to do, and listen to me, is overcome where you are right now. Write a book about it, or write or do a workshop about it, or do a training about it, and sell it to the people that need what you did. It's called monetize your experience. The only reason I'm here right now is because I've learned to monetize my experience. You know how many people been through what you are still going through, what you went through? They come from a good home, you know, like we typically do. We get out there, we test the waters, and then we fall into a situation that's keeping us longer than we even want to stay. We wake up every day pissed off about our situation, about what we did. How you get up every day pissed off but you won't do anything about it? Do you understand what type of thought process it takes to be caught up into that web? Once you overcome it, then you teach other people how to get out. That's all I do. I've overcome it, and I'm here to teach you how to what? I said from day 1, I want to teach you how to win. That's it. How to win. That's it. That's a sure way to make some money right there. Sure way. Because you're going to get paid, because there's millions of people. What they say in the Bible, narrow is the way, broad is the way to destruction, right? So there's a whole bunch of people traveling that road. You feel me? And narrow is the way to life. A few there are that find it. What do they mean by life? Their life. Understanding who they are. When you come into the consciousness of who you are as a person, as a queen, as a woman, and the power you possess as a mother, and you've been through all that you've been through, man, you will get an audience any day of the week. Any day of the week. If you're doing it right and you're holding yourself with integrity and trust, so people can trust that you're telling the truth. People can see your walk. They can feel your energy. They know that you believe in what you do. Man, please, you will get an audience every day of the week. There's always going to be somebody that need what you have. Always. Because we got too many people coming up in homes where they're being mentally destroyed. And all you're doing is showing them how to transform their thought process. That's all I come to do. Because at the end of the day, it's not about what I believe, it's about what you believe. And all I'm here to do is to help you to transform your thought process to believing in yourself and your power to get it done. That's it. That's it. Because when you believe in that power, guess what's going to start happening? Good stuff. And you're no longer going to lend yourself to that, you know, you can't. You won't. It's not going to work. You're going to find yourself like, man, I hate being around these people. You know what I'm going over here. It's going to irritate you. It got to a point, I'm not going to lie, I'm going to be direct. I was going certain places with my wife, real talk, I couldn't stay in a room for like 2-3 minutes. I'm not dissing nobody, but man, it's some people, they are just so negative until I just feel like it's on me. You get me? When you get just felt like that, you walk in the room and you feel that negative energy and you're like, man, I gotta get out of here. Like, woo! You know, for real. For real, you know what I'm saying? For real. And then she say to me now, why don't you want to go?
You done made me sit up.
Yeah, so I be trying. I'm like, man, look, I'll go in and say hi, but man, you best believe. Oh, let me be honest. I'm gonna say hi. I'm gonna make my way to the table. I'm going to eat for coming. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm going to find an exit to get out of here. I'm out of here. I'll help out first. You need help with anything. If they say, no, we got it. I mean, I'm on bricks. All right, so has everybody got all that? We good? So resources. So we talked about resources required, resources on hand, and resources that you need. Make sure you have all that down. Because when you identify the resources that you need, then now you have what you are looking for. And then under daily confession, I put that I am a prosperous quality of life professional. That's what I am. I am a quality of life professional. I am out to enhance the quality of your life. No matter what product I sell, no matter what I do, because I have a financial services company too. But everything that I do is about enhancing the product or the quality of my clients' lives. It's about making them better. That's all I want to sow into the world. I don't want to sow anything that's going to cause you problems, because if I sow something to you or do something that's going to cause you problems, I might as well put my name on the list. I might as well, because it's coming back. It's coming back. You can't escape that. That's divine law. You can't escape what's already in place in this world. So I put I'm a prosperous, quality of life professional with the knowledge, the understanding, the resources, and the tools necessary to become my greatest expression in life. Make sense? And then results is what it is. You don't get to results until you at your 6-month goal. So results is that you meet your goal. And if you mark, yes, I did, then it's going to position you to set yourself up for the next 6 months. If you say, no, I didn't, then it puts you like into a point of analysis and asks why. So why didn't you achieve this goal? And that's what we don't ask ourselves too often. Why? And before we go on break, one last thing. Tony Robbins said it's not the accomplishment of a goal that makes you better, it is the pursuit. Do you know why?
Good effort. Because
Good effort, yes.
you tried. Well, same, I mean, it is. Same thing.
Okay, so if I started here, because people always told you that if you don't accomplish the goal, you didn't make it, right?
No, if you took at least one step, you made an accomplishment to that goal.
That's right, because you can look back from where you were. And as long as I can look back from where I were, that means that I'm in motion. It doesn't matter if I say that I'm going to lose 10 pounds by, we'll just say September the 1st, and then September the 2nd, I only lost 7. But hey, listen, guess what?
You made an accomplishment to
That's it. That's what I want to say to you, because when we get our mind wrapped around goals, it's been ingrained in us for so long that if you get to your time and you didn't make it, then you didn't make the goal. You failed. No, you did not fail. The process, excuse me, the success is in the pursuit and not the actual accomplishing of the goal itself. Let's take a 10-minute break. Okay, so it's 8:17. Come back at 8:27. Oh, you made copies already?
Oh, the one? Yeah.
Oh, cool. You got me feeling like I gotta make sure I got my best pose going on.
For the meeting.
Yeah, that did it for me. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. That was really, really good. Thank you, brother. Thank you.